Every month, a closer look highlights some of the many services and programs the city provides to the citizens of our community. Unfortunately, until we are on the other side of the COVID-19 virus, we are unable to bring you new episodes of A Closer Look. Until then, let's take a look at a few memorable episodes from the past couple of years. In 2018, Director of Human Services Jill Baker gave us some life-saving tips on how to prevent child heat stroke and the importance of never leaving your child alone in a hot vehicle. How could a parent forget their child in a car? That is a question people ask every summer as dozens of children die in hot cars, forgotten by their parents. But the truth is, it can happen to anyone. Here to talk about an initiative the city has been promoting to help prevent these tragedies is Jill Baker, Director of Chesapeake Human Services. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Karen. It's good to be here.
Thank you. Well, how hot does it need to be outside for the temperatures to heat up to a dangerous level in a car?
Well, actually, surprisingly, it is only 60 degrees,
Really?
and within 30 minutes, the car can heat up to 110 degrees. So you can only imagine if it's 70, 75, or 80 like in the summers. Clearly, that could get to well over 125, 130 degrees very easily within 10 minutes.
That's so hard to believe that 60 degrees, you really would need a jacket outside, but inside the car, it doesn't take long at all.
Not at all.
Now, how long does a child need to be in the car for them to show signs of a heat stroke?
Well, infants in particular, bodies are just developing, and unlike adults, it can take just a few minutes for a child to, 10 times less than an adult to experience heat stroke. So, just a very few minutes for a child to be in that kind of heat in a car to start seeing signs of heat stroke.
So I would imagine, like, if the hotter it is outside, the quicker it's going to reach that point where they're in danger.
Right. Their body temperature just can't regulate itself to keep up with the heat like an adult's can.
Now, how big a part does a change or disruption of a routine play in a lot of these cases?
I think that probably is the reasons for these kinds of cases. A dad taking a child to a daycare center for the mom, and that's not his normal routine. And he gets in the car, the child's in the back, probably sleeping or quiet, and he drives right to work. Any change in routine, especially in these days, we're very distracted
easily distracted
by other things going on. Very busy, being at work, being a parent, working in the community, all those things. It happens. Sadly, it does happen.
And it is hard to understand at first when you hear it, but when you start thinking about the distractions that we have every day, whether it's, I drove right past the grocery store and didn't go, or just something as minor as that, you are distracted.
Right.
And it's easy to be distracted, especially if you deviate from your normal routine.
Yeah. And you might be thinking about what your day looks like, what's going on at your day. Are you prepared, for work and those kinds of things.
And so especially if the child is sleeping.
Right.
You're not going to hear the child, so that's another way probably. Now, what are some ways that we can make sure that this doesn't happen to a parent or a caregiver?
Well, I think some of the tips that we can certainly offer is if you are driving to the daycare center, always put your purse, your briefcase, your cell phone, anything that you know you're going to want to have in the back seat. Another thing you might do is if the child has a stuffed animal that they usually take with them, put that in the front seat so that when you go to get your purse, you'll see the stuffed animal.
That visual
and it'll clue you that,
okay, why is this here? Oh, okay.
Some of the other things you might do is to have an agreement with your child care provider that if the child does not show up, to call immediately. Your child didn't show up for daycare today, is everything okay? And then that will clue you into, oh my gosh, where is the child? So,
or even the other parent, you know,
Right.
maybe have that agreement as well,
Right.
that they call, okay, you took
Right, how'd it go?
Johnny
Yeah.
to daycare
Right.
today, or something like that.
Absolutely. Just, you know, you can't be too vigilant.
Right.
Especially when you are tag teaming it with another, you know, or co-parenting that, or a grandparent even, who might, you know, have to
Right,
fill in
exactly.
sometimes. So, yeah.
And it's such a tragedy. And as we were talking earlier, you said it's absolutely preventable.
It is 100% preventable. And when I read about these cases, so far, in this year so far, there have been, nationwide, there have been 26
Wow.
child deaths as a result of leaving the child in the car.
And it's so
yeah.
unbelievable,
Right.
but understandable in a way,
Absolutely,
you know.
yeah.
And it's, again,
Right.
it's just a matter of, I guess, getting in a routine or having a plan ahead of time,
Right.
because the results is just, when you think about a
Right.
parent and the grief, you know,
Right.
that they will go through when
And I
this
would like to say
happens.
that very few of these are intentional.
Right, right.
Probably close to 75–80% of these are just the parent being distracted and forgetting that they had the child.
And that can happen to anybody.
It can.
We may think it
Absolutely.
won't, but if you start thinking about
Right.
how it happens, then
Right.
absolutely.
And you know, you just have to have an agreement with your partner or spouse that you have to be ever vigilant.
Absolutely.
When it comes to your children.
Now, what are the bystander laws? Like, for instance, if I come across a car in a parking lot, and I see a child left alone, what should I do, or what can I do by law?
Right. There is in Virginia, there is the Good Samaritan law, so that you can take action as long as you've already called 911, but you're seeing the child is in distress, then you can take action, and whether that's breaking the window,
Right,
breaking into the
right.
car to rescue the child, you are not liable at that point.
Now, I've seen too stories on the news along with, you know, the tragedies, that there have been bystanders who have done just that and saved the life of that child.
Right, absolutely. And you know, they are immune from any prosecution as long as they have called 911. And generally that's our first reaction, is to call 911. But if that child's in distress, you really need to act.
Now, what is the city doing to help educate citizens about this initiative?
Well, we are doing a lot of outreach activities, trying to get the word out, just trying to do an awareness campaign. We're doing bits like this,
getting the word out.
Getting that word out. And we have done training for every single employee at Department of Human Services, so that every client or every family that we touch, we're also getting that out. Our hope is that then they will, get that out as well. The hospitals are doing some awareness as well. So we're just hoping to really get the word out as to how this can happen very innocently, and what tips you can do to prevent this.
Now, what website can people go to learn more?
Well, there's several. One is newkidscenter.com.
Okay.
where'sbaby.org, noheatstroke.com, and kidsandcars.org. So those are 4 websites that have some additional information if anybody's looking for extra information of what they can do or how they might want to also be able to get the word out to others as well.
Thank you for coming on and talking about this very important topic, and stick around, because after the break we're going to talk about another initiative the city is promoting. For more information, go to where'sbaby.org. Also, please remember, you should never leave your pet alone in the car, even with the windows cracked.